Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Well, I've come on here live because I really want to discuss the videos that I've been talking about this week. There's been some exciting times happening with gold and silver, for example. And today's video, I really want to talk about, is the currency, is it dying? You know, is the US dollar, is it dying? And this is why gold and silver is so, gold and silver has always been a precious thing anyway, and it's not just something that is a pet rock. It is literally something that is valuable that we use in our daily lives. So today's video, I really wanted to talk about this urgent update for today, that gold is climbing fast, as we know, and I just want to keep the momentum going because I want us to be aware of it, because all of the other organizations, the government organizations, the billionaires, the millionaires, for example, the family officers, the Federal Reserves, the central banks, everybody's aware about what gold and silver has and can offer to us all, for example. And also there's stock in mining as well that we're really not thinking about. And I know there's a lot of people wobbly, sitting on the fence type of thing, but this is why I'm talking so much about this, because we need to think about building and growing our wealth so that we've got our safety net, our safe haven. Otherwise, we're in the mercy of the outside elements, for example. But here's something that the mainstream won't tell you. Since 1933, the FDR and the bankers defaulted. So gold has skyrocketed by an incredible 15,714%, whilst paper, dollar, it's lost over 99% of its value. Now, yes, you heard me right, and I'm shocked by it as well. The dollar has gone down over 99%, whereas with gold has gone over 15,000%. So why? This is why smart investors are moving right now. They're moving fast right now. That's why you'll see people talking about sold out, because the big organizations are saying, hey, look, I want my gold back. Send me my gold back. And it's in another country, and they're having to look to get it elsewhere to supply where the person actually brought the gold from, for example. So it's like a swap around kind of game here. So this is why the mining industry needs to really be able to supply the demand. And yes, silver will always and gold will always be around, because we can recycle it, just like how I did scrap gold silver business, for example. Brilliant idea, for example, to do that. But imagine that the mines globally, currently at the moment, in 20 years' time, the silver, for example, is going to run out because it cannot meet the demand of how silver is being used. It's being used more than what gold is being used, for example, i.e. solar panels, i.e. electric vehicles, i.e. AI, i.e. robots. The list is tech. For example, the list is quite long that why we use silver, for example. Now, we've got to really be looking at what we can do in order to secure our future, for example. So I want you to stay with me to the end, because in this video I'm going to talk to you about how you can position yourself properly, whether you're looking at gold or silver or scrap gold or even the mining stocks. So grab your coffee and let's go for this. I've got my tea right here. Cheers. And I'm going to go into this with you. So the news is that gold today has reached $3,236, for example, which is an incredible momentum. Silver is still at, 332, for example. And I'll just check this whilst I'm here online with you, because you never know. Things could change in a minute. So let me just check. And I'm just going to give you the, yes, so it's 32.24, so $32.24 silver is. It's holding its own. The highest price is $32.34, for example. Silver is doing $3,236, for example. Now, I'll put the link here so that you can see it for yourself and keep track of that on a daily basis, for example. Now, like I said, gold is going up incredibly, and silver is at the $32, for example. And they're both in the raising green in the charts, for example. Yesterday I talked about, as well as today, I talked about Michael Oliver, the trusted market analysis. There's other trusted market analysis, but I'm just talking about Michael Oliver. I will be talking about other analysis as well. That they are predicting that silver will reach $50 very soon. But it's not just a prediction. It's an historical pattern repeating itself. We always hear that story, don't we? It's like history repeating itself. How many times have you heard, oh, fashion's come back. Oh, we used to wear that years ago. So you know that things keep repeating itself, for example. Same with the recession. It keeps coming back. It repeats itself. So with regards to this, remember that 1933, that the gold was up over 15,000%. And the dollar was down. And it is down. Even now. So what does that really tell you? What does it tell us? That every time government prints too much money or lose control of debt, gold and silver become the safe haven. Paper money loses its value. It's always, and always will be that way. So today feels like history repeating itself. And listen, I've been through quite a few decades, for example, to know that I've seen it repeating itself. I would say I'm probably on the 4th section of my lifespan of seeing this history repeating itself. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. It's taken me quite a while to really get to grips with it, because sometimes when you see something the first time, you don't really pay much attention because you're young, you're not really paying attention. Then it happens the second time, you're kind of still a bit young and you're still thinking, I don't know what that was about, but let's move forward. And then when you get to the third time, you're like, oh, hang on a minute, what's happening here? So now it's coming to this in 2025. You know that this is something serious that we need to look at and to really pay attention to with what's happening globally as well as in our own countries, for example. Now, I'll continue on. A business coach for like 35 years now. I've worked for law firms, for example. I did wills, trust, lasting power of attorneys. I got my qualification to be a will writer. I specialize in healthcare because I've been in healthcare for over 35 years. For example, I've been a business coach for over 10 years, for example. But in 2007, I was doing, with my husband, who's now passed away, we was doing scrap gold parties in 2007. We would get people to host a party, and then we would go to their house, the host, and then people would bring their junk jewelry, for example. They would bring their junk jewelry, they would bring their gold, their silver, for example. We would weigh them, we would look at what the spot price was, and what the good thing is with this, with the scrap gold, the old jewelry, broken jewelry, it was broken earrings, it would be a broken chain, it would be an ear bag, you know, every little thing someone would bring that would add to something which was no good to them, for example. So we would offer below the spot price. So the spot price would be, for example, a certain figure. Then we would look at, right, okay, we'll offer you 30% of that, because we've got to sift through things, we've got to take them to the refineries, that takes time, and all of these things, for example. So that was a bit about that's some of my personal stories. So we was holding these parties. So by the second month, for example, we were then able to go to London to the refineries. We took our scrap gold and silver and we took it to a refinery. They smelted it down, and we ended up with 3 gold bars, for example, and 1 silver bar, for example. And that really made quite a lot of money. It was probably about 10k, for example. When we came out of that busy London street, one of the wealthiest streets in London, you know, we were like really excited. We were like, wow, I can't believe we've done this. Does this really work? We were thinking, you know, that type of thing. So just a bit of background about why I'm so passionate about this, and I know it works. And we gathered enough over the months, 2-3 months, and we smelted the gold and silver bars down. We had them done by a refinery, and we turned the broken jewelry into wealth. And you can still do this today. So scrap gold is a hidden opportunity most people really overlook. We all could look in our jewelry box, for example. We all can see that we've got a broken earring, for example, or there's a broken piece of jewelry that's, you know, just snapped off, and you've got the clasp, for example, that is just sitting in your jewelry box. Or, you know, you've lost an earring and you've got 1 earring left, for example. It's not a pair, so you can't wear it, for example. Then there's also your earring back, for example, that you may have lost, that's gold, for example, or a broken chain, for example, that you haven't got it repaired. So there's lots of ways to buy broken jewelry, and it is a hidden opportunity because majority of people have them in their house, for example, broken jewelry. And like the saying is that pences make pounds, for example, or cents make dollars. Same with the broken jewelry, that makes gold bars or coins, for example, rounds, for example, or even silver bars, for example. So I wanted to share my personal story with you. But another opportunity is the mining stocks. The mining stocks. And just to mention, on gold and silver, even though the tariffs and all the markets were crashing, gold and silver still held its own. It still was standing strong and firm. It wasn't swaying in the wind. It was holding fast stead, and it still was holding its own. Yes, it dropped a bit, and it's still trying to get back to where it was up to, for example. It's not going to take long. It's not going to take long. But the mining stocks is something which is overlooked as well. And there's miners that have mining stocks, for example. As long as they're, reputable ones, then that's fine. So some mining stocks, post cycles, they've gone up to 500%, 1,000, 2,000%. Especially when there is a metal shortage. And I just wanted to share this with you just so that we've got some awareness of what we can do right now. And I'm not saying spend loads of money. You can buy a silver coin, for example, for $30, $35, for example. Just something like this. You don't have to start off huge. For example, this is like a special edition type of coin as well, for example, and $35 you can buy a piece of gold for an ounce, for example. Sorry, not gold, silver for an ounce, for example. Now you can also buy gold. If you're going to buy an ounce of gold, then that's 3,236. You may have to pay an additional amount because of the person has to put their fees on top, insurance, delivery, all of these things, for example. Now, silver mine inventories are dropping. Like I said, the demand is rising for electronic vehicles, solar panels, AI chips, medical equipment, tech, for example, data centers. The list is endless. Robots, for example. And the next thing is that this is using up more silver than what it usually would have used because of this demand. There isn't enough demand for the supply, for example, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's going to be all of these demands for silver, but the supply is not in. They can't supply enough to meet the demand, for example. Now, some practical wealth planning here. So if you're looking at wealth planning, building, I would always suggest that you stack physical gold and silver, or one or the other, whatever it is that you can afford. It's not something that you sell your house for. It's not something that you get a loan for. It's not something that you use your card for. It is not something that you go without for, like paying your rent, for example. You make sure that you've paid everything, and then whatever it is you've got left over comfortably, then you look at whether it's silver that you're going to buy, or whether it is gold that you're going to buy, or whether you're going to buy a mining stock, for example. Start off small. You don't have to be big. Okay, start off small. Okay, so let's look at this. So are you going to, I've got a 10-year plan, for example, and I've also got some free gifts here, which is the 10-year stacker, for example, and believe me, 10 years goes by fast. I'm on my sixth term. In a couple of months, I'll be 60. So 10 years goes by fast. So don't think it doesn't. Now, some people, they only do it for a couple of years. Some people do it for 5 years. Some people do it for 10. But I want to do it for 10 years and more, for example. And you can also put them into a trust as well. So it's protected so that it can't be intercepted by creditors, for example. So let's look at this. So if you're going to go for, say, 100 ounces of silver, 10 ounces of gold, it's going to take you some time to build up, for example. But why not do this? Start doing this now, for example. And we can do this together. I'm going to be on here on a regular basis, daily, for example. I'm going to be uploading, for example, daily. And what I want to say to you is that there's a lot of things happening. And as we can see, but gold and silver is still holding its own. And I believe that that is the test of time. That is your reliability. That is your trust. That is your evidence that gold and silver has been around for a long time. And it stands the test of time. And it is your safe haven. Whether you're looking at saving for your retirement, whether you're looking to put down money on a property, whether you want to pay for education, for example, or just treat yourself. It's something that we should all be doing. We should all be building wealth. If you've got a business, you should be looking at, I talked about this last year. I started talking about it in August last year. If you look at some of my videos, CEO Challenge, 30-day CEO Challenge, about saving, preparing for, creating a crisis fund, for example, a safe haven, so that in the eventuality, when and if something was to happen in your business, you would be able to put money to save your business because you've got it in gold and silver, in physical gold and silver, for example. So it's about creating a safe haven, protecting your future, protecting your wealth, for example. So keep stacking, keep safe, and what I want to do is I want to share this in the next video with you. So think about what type of stacking you want to do, whether it's gold and silver or whether it's both. The Federal Reserves, and I'll mention this, the Federal Reserves are looking, they're watching for if there is a big crash, they're going to step in, for example, but we also need to step in and start looking at how we can build our wealth, for example, because this is about awareness, building your awareness. If you haven't started doing it already, there's people that are doing this on a regular basis, but if you haven't started doing this already, it's something that you need to really think about and start building now, for example. And just start with $35 a month. Just buy one coin a month. And then over 12 months, for example, you'll have 12 coins, 12 1-ounce coins, for example, 12 ounces, for example. And imagine you buy it for 35 and it's worth 50 or even 100, for example, like some of the analysts are talking about, predicting, for example. So I wanted to come on here tonight to share this with you, and also check out the links here as well for the stacker and the guide. I've got some videos as well, how to complete your silver stacker or gold stacker or both, for example. Talk about ratios, for example. And what I also want you to do is, I'm going to pin the comments here, and I'd love to know whether you're stacking silver or gold, or whether you're going to start doing that. I also would like to say thank you to everyone that's been subscribing. Thank you to everyone that's been commenting. Thank you for your likes. I really do appreciate it. And please do share this with anyone that you feel that would benefit. If you are looking to retire or semi-retire, then this is the ideal time to start really stacking gold and silver, because it can pay for your retirement. It can even pay for nursing fees, for example, for a loved one, for example. It can go into a trust, for example, and be protected so that it goes to you when you need it at the right time, for example, or a loved one, for example, or a friend, for example. So, you know, this is something that we really should really take it seriously, and I believe that it is going to grow even more. Gold has grown from when I was doing it in 2007 to now. It has grown amazingly. So be in it for the long term. Don't look at it as a get-rich-quick scheme, because those never work. There's no such thing as a get-rich-quick scheme. You got to do something. It takes years to build momentum, to compound, for it to grow, and for you to grow as well. So, like I said, thank you for your comments, thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for your likes as well. And join me in my next video tomorrow. I'll be going live, but also do check out my playlist, as well as I'm going to put some links here as well, some free gifts for you to download. But first you have to click the link to request access, and then I will then just click the button, or my team will, and then you'll be given access to download the document. You won't be able to edit from the drive. You'll need to download it first, for example, then you'll be able to edit as well. So thank you so much. I hope that you've enjoyed this quick video today, and I look forward to speaking with you all very soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and stay blessed. And let me know in the comments if you are buying silver or whether you are buying gold. I would love to know what your thought processes are on it, and how far you've got with building your gold, because you know it can take years, for example. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Digital. Thank you so much. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate your comments, because it lets me know that people are here, you're listening, and I want to hear from people that are doing it really well as well, like I have been doing. I've been hearing from people that have been doing it for 10 years and they're doing really well from it. We've got to look at all different aspects of how we can increase our wealth. There's gold that you can buy, gold and silver that you can buy at spot price, obviously for a fee. Then there's the mining stocks as well. And then the third thing is favorites is also scrap gold and silver, because recycled gold and silver is just as valuable. But also, I'm going to put a link here for, there's a wonderful bullion dealer here as well, worldwide. They've been going for years. JM Bullion, for example, I'm going to put their link here, and I'm going to be starting to show you how to do your own scrap gold business. And I can't wait to get started, because I'll tell you something, it's such a buzz when you do that. When you do that and you're holding your gold and silver in your hands, it is the best feeling you could ever have. You feel amazing. You feel on top of the world, and you've created that. Well, not you, the refinery has, but it's still yours. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope that you've enjoyed this live today. I wanted to come on here to say, look, even though the dollar, the US dollar, is going down and down and down, we can still rise with gold and silver. Silver isn't just a rock that we look at or that we wear, for example. It is something that can grow and make us money. And yes, gold is, there's quite a few loopholes anyway, and I'll go into that in some more trainings, but you know, there's such great benefits to it. It is here, it's in the land, it is in the earth, it's not man-made. It's been created for us to benefit from, and we should grow from that, right? Instead of just looking and seeing everyone else benefiting. I mean, look at the billionaires out there. They've got these businesses like your iPhones and things like that. It all comes from silver. The tech industry, silver. The solar panels, silver. Renewable energy, silver. The electronic vehicles, silver. This has all made people billions, but yet silver is the poor relative of gold. But you know what? Silver is the tortoise. I believe it's going to win the race, because hair is the gold, but silver is the tortoise, and it's going to grow. And it is growing, and look what's happening. So stay with me. Check me out tomorrow. I'm going to put the links here in this description once this video live is finished, and I look forward to sharing more valuable information with you. And I want you to join me as I'm going into the shops to buy my silver coins for my stacking calculator, so that we can build together. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much for your comments. Take care. Bye.